Well, so I bring, for this particular moment with the COVID disaster response, I think I bring a lot of experience, a lot of connection to local partners, a lot of knowledge of how our community works, kind of where the money is and where the money isn't. I understand kind of the breadth and depth of the pain that our community's in, both in terms of the public health part. The county's played an important role in trying to mitigate COVID. But also understanding which sectors have been most affected, and obviously our health sector, our education, poor Dr. Lewis, my gosh, the superintendents of our school systems are really in a hard place right now. But we're a high service industry community, and those sectors have just been devastated. So our arts and culture, events menus, the restaurants, our restaurants, the places we love that make us, love being here. They make us a unique place in Kansas. Those places are suffering so much. So I know the leaders of all of those sectors. I know how to make connections with them. I understand the CARES Act dollars that are coming to the county, $25 million that need to be spent rapidly. That process is underway, and I'm part of the economic recovery group that's charged with creating a program for economic recovery using a portion of those dollars. So I think in this moment, response to COVID and recovering, not just in this moment, but looking forward and thriving despite the hardship we're in, I bring the experience to accomplish that and confidence in our future that we can make our way through this and mitigate the crisis right now and be creative, strategic planning for our future.
I listened to something back in April or May. It talked about communities and countries that are resilient, and basically resiliency is toughness. The ability to recover quickly from difficulties, and communities that go into times of communities that hold together in times of threat go into those kinds of situations with high social trust, high faith in their institutions, integrated people, and a sense of togetherness. And that was a really compelling, thing for me to listen to, and to just think about that just in our own community. So how much of that do we have right now, and where are we at with that? So I think we have an opportunity right now to come together and to build resilience. And over the next few years, I think that this room represents a lot of the people who can help that happen. And so I think what I bring to that, again, is back to the type of leadership that I've practiced. Is I don't have all the answers for how that's going to happen. I think people here hold a lot of those answers. People in our community are solving problems every day, and listening to them, relying on them, calling for creativity and resourcefulness in people, and true collaboration with people. I think that's the starting point, and listening, and moving forward together again with an overarching vision that is aspirational and calls us all to work together. And that's my starting point for that.
Well, thank you. I bring a unique mix of experience to this particular position. I have years of experience as an administrator in our growing Overland Park campus for KU. I'm also a scholar of local government policy. I graduated from the #1 ranked local government management program in the country right here at the University of Kansas. And I've been studying this work for years. I not only oversee large budgets, I've published on how we can actually work in diverse communities with budgets and budget resiliency. I have experience with our nonprofit community through serving on boards. I also have the support of local businesses, and I'm happy to have been endorsed by local businesses here in our community, as well as rural farms. And I think that we need to really consider this particular social moment and the context that we're in. We're in a moment of political reckoning, and I think that means that we need to bring more diverse voices into positions of leadership. So one of the things that a county commissioner does is appoints folks to a number of really important boards. And I tap into unique networks that we may not have tapped into before because of the communities that I'm engaged with. I'm currently running on a coalition ticket with Shannon Reid from the 2nd District and Cooper Overstreet for District Attorney, which means I've already demonstrated that we have clear policy positions that we can collaborate on and move forward as we get into office. I think that it's important to consider our role as a local government in the broader state, and I'm honored to have been appointed by Governor Kelly to the State Commission on Racial Equity and Justice, so we can think about how our policy shifts and changes are really shaped by state level policy and how we work collaboratively across a number of different sectors and organizations. So I bring the budgetary experience, I bring the knowledge of local government policy and years of work with our communities.
So in my heart of hearts, I think I am a nerd. I love learning new things, and that's been the trajectory of my career. So when COVID hit, that's the mode that I went into, which is what can I learn about public health, about vaccinations, about the disease itself. How can I learn fast enough to keep up with what we can do locally, what's happening in our state, national, international scene with the disease. And then also for economic development. So that was the mode that I went into was how can I learn what we're going to need to know in order to manage an economic recovery after COVID. So I don't know if that counts as a special talent, but that's certainly the direction that I head with things. I've been serving as a first responder in our rural area, and we for the last 7 years, and so we have a special role there that we play in terms of immediate health concerns. I don't necessarily run medicals myself, but we interact with people at some of their worst moments, and that's something that kind of plays into how we handle our own society and our own neighbors when we have a health crisis. I've spent a lot of time at county meetings and making sure that I know how our county operates in a normal time and then what opportunities there are to work through in special times. So when we've had to set up the unified command to run for the initial COVID response, that was something that we trained for as first responders. It's a model that we know and understand. The connections that I've made through Leadership Lawrence have been really valuable to me in this time also, because connected with leaders and movers and shakers in a lot of our nonprofits, in our business community. So I've got kind of an ear out for individually what is happening on the ground in those instances also. And that gives me a great framework to know where our vulnerabilities are and how we move forward in fixing those. I've also, of course, been a business owner and have run startup companies, and I know what those growing pains are like and have a real heart for what people are going through and trying to keep businesses up and running in such an unusual time. So I bring a skill set to the County Commission that will allow me to look kind of across the board at what our recovery is going to need to look like.